Hello once again, my chickadees. GameNChick is back again with another review. Before we get started, I wanted to give a big thank you to the kind folks over at Sony and PlayStation for providing me a review copy of the game to make this review possible. Thank you very much. So now you know the drill. On to adventure. Uncharted Legacy of Thieves Collection is an action-adventure shooter developed by Iron Galaxy and Naughty Dog and is published by SIE, being a remastered release of both Uncharted 4: A Thief's End and Uncharted The Lost Legacy, with both having been released individually previously on PlayStation 4 in 2016 and 2017 respectively. Sony attempts to honor the long legacy of the Uncharted franchise by giving us arguably the two best entries in the series. But do they warrant another release? Or should our fond memories have stayed back where we remembered, on the PlayStation 4? Only one way to find out, so let's go! Uncharted 4: A Thief's End. So because this is a 2-in-1 review, we're going to have to switch up the format again and how it's usually done. First, I will cover Uncharted 4 and give my thoughts on its story, gameplay, and performance, and then transition into giving the same point of view in relation to Lost Legacy. I am well aware that no one here lives under a rock. I mean, heck, if you did, you'd be small like the cartoon The Little Bits. Do you guys remember that show? Sorry, back on topic. The reason I say that is because nearly everyone has played Uncharted 4 or Lost Legacy before. But when I do reviews, I go into it with the impression that someone has not played something, so it will be treated the same way here. As you start your game, you're already thrusted into the high-octane action that Naughty Dog brings to you, as Nathan and his brother Sam are involved in a major boat chase during a thunderstorm on the Seven Seas as they're being chased by the mercenary organization by the name of Shoreline. But suddenly, without warning, slam! Their boat is hit and Nathan goes flying into the cold ocean. They're hit so hard that Nathan goes back in time and now wakes up in the Catholic orphanage from when he was a kid. Crazy! Oh, wait, this is a flashback? Never mind. My idea was kinda cool though. In this opening segment for the orphanage, it's basically your tutorial for the game, with some story mixed in to make it seem less of a tedious or daunting task. It is here where you learn the basics from crouching, stealth, platforming with your jumps, and shimmying, as well as the backstory for Nathan and his older brother Sam, with each of them discovering new secrets about their mother, her history of treasure hunting, and how they both adopted the name of Drake. You also get to give a little old lady a heart attack by telling her bingo night was cancelled. Pretty cool. Relax, I'm joking. Kind of. You transition to years later with both Drake brothers, now being adults, stuck in prison. But really, it's on purpose. The reason for coming here is to try and find clues to uncover the secret pirate treasure of the pirate Captain Avery, who has eluded not only them, but everyone who has ever dared to look for it. When searching for your first clue during a tread of a nearby tower, you're then introduced to the next gameplay mechanic, grapple hooking. Oh lord. This might seem like such a small feature, but you have no clue how fun this thing is to use. Whether you're just grabbing or swinging or jumping over a cliff, then throwing your rope at the last second to glide, and even combining them all together for one quick jump, swoop, and then free fall with a powerful punch into an enemy below. It's so damn satisfying to do. But we'll get back to the gameplay in just a second, trust me. With your team of Nathan, Sam, and Rafe now having the artifact they need to continue their search, it is now prudent to make your grand escape. That is what I would say anyways if it was actually grand. You see, Michael Scofield wasn't around to plan this prison break, so you had to make ends meet with your wits and cunning ingenuity. Which doesn't work out, as during your intense running and jumping to avoid enemy guards, Sam is shot and then falls back into the prison, forcing Rafe and Nathan to leave him for dead. I don't know what would have fit better, Gandalf saying, "Fly, you fools!" or Simba screaming as you watch your brother fall, but moving on. Flash forward to 15 years in the future, and Nathan is a kid trapped in a man's body that plays with Nerf guns, making pew 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 sounds, and being stuck in a midlife crisis as he ignores his wife, like a good husband does, and becomes transfixed on a picture on the wall, yearning again for one last adventure.
What? Where are you?
I'm in here, being stabbed with a fork.
The reason for this yearning is because even though he told his wife that he would give up the treasure hunting life, he still misses the feeling of adventure and discovery. Staying true to his word, he turns down a job in Malaysia and is content with his life for now. That is, until his brother shows back up into his life after 15 years. He's still alive, but he needs your help. He's in trouble big time with a drug lord, and if he doesn't get a hefty sum of money within 3 months, he will be killed, and Nathan is the only one who can help him. Reluctantly, Nathan decides to help Sam and go in search of Avery's treasure with him, but not before calling his wife, lying to her like a good husband does, and telling her that he will only be gone for a few weeks, when in actuality, he could die and she'd never know. Hey, that's what husbands are for, and that's what heroes do. Now your adventure finally begins, and oh boy is it a whirlwind. As you know by now, the Uncharted series since its inception on PlayStation 3 is all about fast-paced action sequences with narrowing close calls, Michael Bay explosions, intense gunfights, witty humor between the main characters that give each individual person in the story their own unique character arc or personalities, and the astonishing feeling of accomplishment from exploration. This is the core of what makes an Uncharted game, well, Uncharted. Everything I named here is still alive and present in the fourth and final entry into the Nathan Drake saga, and has you go on his biggest adventure yet. Adventuring and exploring your environments in Uncharted has never felt more fun and satisfying than it does in A Thief's End. Each environment, scenery, or story piece has its own unique perspective that offers you new ways to play, or even old ways to play that feel further enhanced by tweaks to its core mechanics. For instance, gunplay in A Thief's End is now snappy, fluid, and more responsive compared to how sluggish and locked down the combat felt in titles like Uncharted 1-3. This could be in large part due to the performance upgrades of this title now that it's on PlayStation 5. Fidelity Mode lets you enjoy this title in all of its graphical glory by offering a 4K 30 FPS experience, which is absolutely gorgeous to look at. Performance Mode, which is my preferred way to play, offers you a graphical scaling of 1440p at 60 FPS. That not only makes the game look and stay beautiful, but run like an absolute dream. And then there's Performance Plus mode that allows you to play in a scaling of 1080p, but at a faster 120 FPS, which is not really ideal if I'm going to be honest, since you have to have a proper setup to even utilize the benefits of this. Sure, all the cool kids that use it will be like,
"You're too slow!"
like Sonic, but shush it, kid. To me, Performance mode is the way to get both the benefits of a graphical upgrade and a user experience. A Thief's End does not shy away from the classic tropes of old, or even from the charm of its both funny and cringe dialogue that takes place between the characters, mainly Nathan and his one-liner jokes. I swear, every time he makes some of these, you're waiting for a laugh track to play as his quips are being said.
Come on, Nathan Drake.
Oh, I see my reputation precedes me.
Well, I'm waiting.
I'm just trying to make it fair.
Granted, I do laugh quite a lot at them, because Nathan as a character is really damn charming. So don't worry, his jokes aren't as bad as the ones in The Big Bang Theory. It's now time to get started as you infiltrate a lavish party to steal back one of Avery's artifacts by pulling an FBI and rope jumping through a window, like you just downloaded illegal music off of Napster and LimeWire.
FBI, open up!
Trek your way through the chilling ice caverns as you watch Sam teleport from one area you just left him at to another one right above you in a matter of seconds. Seriously, what the crap? Proceed to explore and solve engaging puzzles in the lush scenery and oceans of Panama, cool down with friends in the frostbite-ridden Scotland, traverse the beautiful lands and volcano of Madagascar without Chris Rock and Ben Stiller, become engrossed in the sight of a pirate ship graveyard, use grappling hook to swing and jump from mountain to mountain as you use your hook to climb up walls, duck and cover like an old nuclear war PSA, to dodge enemy gunfire, or stealth your way to victory. There's so much to do here that just keeps the game entertaining all throughout its 15 to 20 hour journey, depending on what difficulty you play on. So your time spent with this title will differ depending on how much you die, hearing your NPCs yelling, "Nate! Nate!" Da 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 dun 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 dun. Heck, besides all the near-death experiences, humor, and fast-paced gun mechanics, you even get to have a climactic battle in a sinking pirate ship in a setting that would be befitting of even Pirates of the Caribbean.
Ha, Rafe! Remember this as the day that you almost caught treasure hunter extraordinaire, Captain Nathan Drake.
But it's not all gold coins and lost artifacts around here. There are still some issues that are present here in this entry that plagued the series in the previous games, or weren't fixed here in these remasters. I'll go over these very quickly before we wrap up and move on to a Lost Legacy. Let's get to it! First issue on my list is the Sam and Nathan Kid backstory segments. Don't get me wrong, they aren't bad. It's got some stellar voice acting. However, mood-wise, they feel like filler gaps to me. I could never get into them and anxiously awaited to get back into the parts of the story that I really wanted to engage in. Overuse of the jump, grab, and break gimmick is another issue that I ran into because, yeah, sure, these are old civilizations and structures, they're bound to break, but the excess in which this happens goes from making situations intense to making you groan and say to yourself, oh wow, here's yet another platform that's going to break. And that takes away from the immersion to me. Hand-to-hand combat is also still wonky as ever, and doesn't feel natural, smooth, or as engaging as the bread and butter gunfighting. Lastly, my smaller gripe is Nathan's constant screaming of no, 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 no. It's the same soundbite over and over for a lot of the main danger scenes, and it got on my nerves a little bit. Nothing immersion breaking, but when you hear it roughly 3 times in like half an hour or less, it's a tiny bit off-putting. You could insert a joke here, like, Drake, did you do your homework? Overall though, my gripes and issues aside, Uncharted 4: A Thief's End is a fantastic game on its own, with fascinating areas to explore, fun and intuitive puzzles, superb character development and voice acting that lets you feel every character's plight and emotions, bombastic gunplay that offers up just enough challenge for any player to have fun, no matter skill level, and down to the varied performance options for fidelity and frame rate, makes this title a must-own even by itself. But what of the second game in this remaster, Lost Legacy? Well, that's a hit or miss. Some people love it, others don't. But how do I see it? It's a toughie. Like Indiana Jones trying to replace the Golden Idol, do I switch out Lost Legacy for another title in the series, or keep it? Uncharted: The Lost Legacy. Taking place after the events of Uncharted 4, this is the first entry that does not star Nathan Drake, and instead follows the story of Chloe Fraser, who you may be familiar with if you've played Uncharted 2 and 3, as well as ex-antagonist Nadine Ross, who constantly tried to kill Nathan and Sam in Uncharted 4 as they search for the Tusk of Ganesh in order to keep it out of the hands of the nefarious and evil Asav, to prevent him from doing something dangerous with it. Now, I probably won't go in depth here as much as I did in Uncharted 4, mostly because all the mechanics that took place in Uncharted 4 take place in this game, with no real big deviations other than slightly improved melee combat that feels a bit more responsive during the double team melee segments that happen throughout the game. But that's not to say that there's nothing to talk about, no way! Being able to see the Civil War-ready India through the advantage point of Chloe as she tries to find a way to prevent a war from happening, explore vast temples to uncover their secrets to find tokens and artifacts, view the absolutely gorgeous-looking mountainsides, solve puzzles to open cave aqueducts, and unleash ravishing waterfalls, all of these are great. Well, mostly. What gives this title the advantage over A Thief's End is the semi-open world that you're able to explore. Think of Ocarina of Time, but with Uncharted, and you roughly have an idea of the type of freedom you will have. In this large hub area, you're free to traverse anywhere that you wish to go and see, within reasonable measure, that is. There are still invisible walls that block you off and bushes made of solid concrete, but overall, the sense of freedom you get in The Lost Legacy is far more immersive and engaging than a single area of the previous 4 titles of Uncharted gives you. As stated above, the gameplay roughly remains the same throughout. Same breaking ledges after you grab them trope, bodies made of pure iron steel that seemingly never break no matter what happens to it. Seriously, I think everyone is a Kryptonian. Amazingly fun grapple hook that again here offers you a chance to change up combat by swinging with L1 and changing your position in your terrain, whether it be to get another advantage point or to get the jump on an enemy soldier. Gunplay feels just as smooth and responsive as it did in A Thief's End. Hollywood blockbuster movie action set pieces are even more insane than before, with some of them leaving you in awe or bewilderment, and then questioning how the heck did they even survive that? Seriously, again, everyone in this universe is like a cartoon character that gets injured but is fine just a few moments later. Only thing needed at this point would be to take Chloe and Nadine to Toontown and put them in the dip. Right, Judge Doom? Of course, no game would be very enjoyable if the main characters weren't any fun, right? I mean, who would want to play a game with a petulant, child-minded soldier who's dumb enough to see a scratch and sniff sticker at the bottom of a pool and actually try it? Like someone missing their dose of Thorazine and then, there you go, that's your main character. You wouldn't want that, right? Of course not. Thankfully, it isn't the case here, and Chloe and Nadine are actually even better in Lost Legacy than they were in the previous entries. Chloe is very sassy, has great quips, extremely knowledgeable on her history of ancient artifacts, always cool and collected, while her counterpart of Nadine is more blunt, act first and think later, an ass kicker who can take the fight to just about anyone. Male or female, she's pretty badass. With both of them having very different personalities at the beginning, they don't trust each other much, with Nadine being ex-leader of Shoreline, a ruffian mercenary crew who does terrible things such as murder or destroy, and Chloe, who is a treasure hunter following in the footsteps of her father and is basically a glorified thief. Due to their personalities clashing, they become a yin and yang situation, and due to the amazing job by the voice actresses here, they bounce off of each other so seamlessly that all conversations feel effortless and natural. Watching them grow from being hostile at each other, with each refusing to save the other, hearing them open up to each other about their personal lives and leaving themselves vulnerable, getting angry at each other for keeping vital information from the other, discovering friendship means more than artifacts after they help the trapped elephant from underneath rubble and then proceed to take Dumbo home to the rest of his family and take a selfie. It's all done great, and it's easy to relate to both of the characters. But like Uncharted 4, it's not all happiness here, as I have some very big issues with this game, mainly in regards to its puzzles. Ugh. The puzzles in this game are extremely tedious and time-wasting. Sure, not all of them are bad, like finding the right pillars to press as statues try to slice your head off. I loved that one. But the ones I'm talking about are puzzles that take a good 30 minutes or more to complete. As you venture into the open world as a part of Chapter 4 and 5, you're going to hit your snag with quests that require you to backtrack over and over to find tokens and spin dials to form a puzzle picture of a bow and arrow, or trident. And every time you complete one, you must backtrack to the other side of the map. On top of this, you have a shadow-related puzzle where you must tip statues forward or back in water to align shadows. This one frustrated me so much that I was going to quit for the night until the game realized how tedious its own puzzles were, and Mercy killed me the option to completely skip it. Thank you! Keep in mind, those are mandatory. Don't even get me started on the fountain minigame that requires you to swing from water fountain to water fountain in a set time limit to get a token. This one isn't mandatory, but that still doesn't mean it's good either. This title from start to completion isn't a long one, running you a good 7 to 8 hours tops, and at least 3 to 4 of those will be spent on Chapter 4 and 5 respectively. No joke, it gets mundane quick. Difficulty also runs along the same lines as The Thief's End, and includes the 3 different graphical settings of Uncharted 4 too. So not only does this game look stunning, but it runs blisteringly smooth too. When you're not enjoying the view and wondering just how the heck Naughty Dog and Iron Galaxy managed to make something this gorgeous, you will be engaged in anxiety-inducing combat with shielded enemies, be on alert from snipers, use RPGs to take down armored vehicles or helicopters, discover secrets hidden away from the main story tucked inside tombs, and trying to stop a runaway Thomas the Tank Engine from terrorist bombing a city with thousands of people. While Lost Legacy has a lot of great ideas and sights to see, for me personally, the tedious puzzles killed a lot of the fun for me in this title and put a damper on my spirits overall. Would I buy this if it was a standalone? Probably not. And I know that differs from the vocal majority, but this is just my views. Overall, at the end of the day, Uncharted Legacy of Thieves Collection gives newcomers and previous fans of the franchise some great Uncharted action to enjoy, with both titles having their pros and cons. Uncharted 4 having wonky melee combat or overuse of the grabbing trope, but making up for it with fantastic areas to traverse, fluid combat, fun and engaging puzzles, and lovable characters. Lost Legacy having really bad and borderline boring puzzles to solve, but making up for it with a slightly semi-open world with tons of secrets to uncover and relatable characters in Chloe and Nadine. It's easy to recommend this title to new or older players. This is in regards to Uncharted 4 more so than Legacy for me. Individually, I'd say stick with Uncharted 4, but since this is a bundle, it's an absolute steal for people that love action titles. This is definitely one for you to try. So with all this having been said, my verdict is clear. GameNChick says bye now. Hey everyone! Thanks for watching! I really hope you enjoyed that review, and I look forward to bringing more to you in the coming future. For new people, feel free to hit that subscribe button and give this video a like or share, and for people already subscribed, make sure to hit that notification bell so that you do not miss out on any future content upload. Also, feel free to click on my other reviews linked above, because they're kinda cool too. So, give them a look! Once again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch all you chickadees on the next one. Quack!